Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news.
Nice. Great news.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you about great news.
Chicken now.
Hey, it's Kevin and Mike. We are back with great news.
Great news.
Let's have an intro, a real intro.
I'm gonna try hard.
All right. Do big band.
It's an intro. Ha! It's an intro. Say hello to the happy, goodbye to the blues, cause Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news. Chickadee.
It was a little more B-52s than I had hoped for, but all right.
I could do that next time. That's the outro. Outro is full Fred Schneider. Don't B-52 me without expecting.
Do you remember my
commitment.
Fred Schneider story?
No, I don't.
He drove me crazy. Early in my career, he drove me crazy.
Oh, he's a lunatic.
And I was on the radio in Los Angeles, and I said that he was driving me crazy. Yeah. Oh, I can't stand. Oh, I'm so upset. Since I've learned to appreciate him and the band and everything else, but then I couldn't take him. I said it and said it and said it, and then one day someone knocked on the back door of the radio station, and I was like, I don't know who that is, so I opened it, and it was Fred Schneider. Of course, he didn't hear anything I said, but of course, in my mind, I was going, oh my God, does he know? Is he going to punch me in the face? What's going to happen?
I would have loved if he was like, and now it's time to pay the price. All the things you're saying, they aren't real nice.
All right. I have a friend who has told me a tremendous amount of things that it was hard for me to believe at first.
Okay.
But when coronavirus started,
Yes.
and especially with Donald Trump calling it the China virus,
Yes.
she's Asian.
She is.
And it is shocking the kind of stupidity that people have toward anyone Asian. This made it a lot worse.
Okay.
So she'd walk into a room and everybody would be looking at her. You know what I mean? Like it's her, like she created it.
Right,
accidentally when she was in, a secret microscope and a secret lab. And she had nothing to do with it. And it happens all the time. Well, there's a family that moved into Ladera Ranch, which I believe is Orange County.
And isn't that like right up here? I mean, isn't that above, like between Culver City and the airport?
I don't know.
Someone? Anyone?
Looking, okay.
Ladera Heights is. I don't know if Ladera Ranch is different.
Ladera
than
Ranch.
Okay.
All right.
You were right. I
She
was wrong.
backed off.
All right.
Get off my neck. So they move into the area.
Okay.
And all of the high school kids in the area start playing pranks on them, like all hours of the night, and yelling stuff like "Go back to where you're from" and all this kind of stupid white.
See, when I hear
racist.
pranks, I'm thinking like, is this good natured or
No. Well, I mean, no, it's not. They're not burning the place down, but they're
Sure.
knocking on the door and running at 3 a.m.
Okay, so it's just they're being jerks.
They're trying
Yeah.
to annoy on purpose. But the neighborhood around them, and this is what I hope would happen in every one of these situations, the neighborhood around this family stepped up and said, let's not have that happen. Check this out.
Our top story tonight here on KCAL 9 News, streaming live on CBSN Los Angeles. No hate here. That's what neighbors are saying in one Orange County community tonight.
Well, that after teens started harassing a new Asian American family. Our Stacey Butler has a story you'll see only here on KCAL 9.
You're looking at home security video of children running up to Hyjin Tsai's home in Ladera Ranch, pounding on the door. At times flashing a light at the camera so they can't be identified, then running off. One kid left a pornographic print at Tsai's front door. Tsai says others have thrown these rocks, and neighbors say hurled racial insults.
All right, hold up 1 second. Who thinks about, that was a framed picture, wasn't it? The pornographic picture? It looked framed.
Here's a framed picture of Tory Black that I had. I thought you might like that.
So this guy's name is Tsai, and he keeps running out trying to get them to stop. They're throwing rocks, which I'm sure are breaking windows.
Does he run out Gangnam Style?
No, but listen to what the neighbors did.
We have called the sheriff many times. The sheriff have come here 7 times.
Detectives stepped up patrols, told him to install cameras and a fence. It hasn't helped. The only thing that has stopped the harassment, neighbors setting up camp, standing guard in shifts so he and his wife and kids can sleep.
Very thankful for my neighborhood. We have 5 peaceful nights. No one knock the door. I don't need to keep watching.
This neighbor spread the word on the community Facebook page.
The reaction that we've received from the community has been unlike anything I have ever seen.
Now, every night, neighbors sign up online to guard Tsai's front door.
We have seen multiple attempts already for the teenagers that have come this way. They see us and they turn around. So will this make them stop forever? Probably not, but at least this family can have some peace.
And I think you can see from the crowd here that we're not going to stand for this.
There's a lot of anti-Asian, hate crimes going on across the country, and this is just another sign that it's happening in a small little community, Ladera Ranch.
It went beyond because they did call them name, and then they told them to go back to where they came from.
Tsai says he doesn't understand why he's being targeted. He's just grateful his neighbors have his back.
Thank you, all my so nice neighbors. Thank you.
As neighbors continue to gather in front of the house, working in shifts, sheriff's investigators say they are taking this case very seriously. They're going through the Ring video, taking eyewitness statements, trying to identify these kids and determine what, if any, crimes have been committed. In Ladera Ranch, Stacy Butler, KCAL 9 News.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
No, this is a different.
Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style.
That's a different Psy. This guy's name is S.I. and that guy's name is P.S.Y.
Okay.
Yeah, very different.
It's good enough for me.
By the way, let me just step in and
beautiful
say,
story, actually.
You feel like a complete outsider when you move into a neighborhood.
Especially if you are from another country.
Yes. To have your neighbors step up and watch the front of your house must be incredible. That must be really, really reassuring that I'm going to make it here and we're going to make it here and I'm part of this neighborhood.
Yeah, and it probably, I hate to say that it was a blessing to have these kids do that, but in the long run,
maybe
I see this community flourishing in a way that they probably would never have if it was just like the new neighbors, they're like, hey, dude, how are you?
Yeah,
You're going to get your paper. That's a strange one. I'm in no way, making excuses for it or
this
trying
means Mike's about to make an excuse.
No, or justifying it in any way. But like, if someone was to move into your neighborhood, say from another country, immediately from another country, and then you were off-put by it because it's something you're not used to, okay, I'm not saying that that's the way you should be, but I understand there's human nature where it's like things that are different than I'm accustomed to. I'm not settled with it yet.
Right.
But the idea of like, let's make them pay is very, I mean, it's a very strange
moronic. It's
idea.
really moronic.
Yeah. Even for kids.
Look,
Really.
we were both dumb kids.
I was a very dumb kid. I was at times a bad kid, but I also have to recuse myself from this because you would need Tommy John surgery to throw rocks at all the Asian families in my neighborhood.
But you didn't. But you didn't want to.
No, I didn't want to. But my point is like I also, to be fully forthcoming, I didn't want to because my life from the start, from as far back as I can remember, it was overwhelmingly diverse.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly like
that's best case scenario.
Yeah. This is another kind of amazing story.
Now we just have Gangnam Style going through my head.
I know,
on a loop.
You can't deny that song. That's a jam. Like you can't deny it. There's apparently people who have to work in really dangerous environments. And I don't mean soldiers and cops. I'm talking about like there's certain types of construction and fishing and everything where it's like, this could be my last day on the job here. Okay, this is what we got to do to go mining something underground. And that's what happened at the Indonesian and Tibetan border. They were miners underground and everything. There was a huge flood and everything collapsed on top of them. People, because they exhausted their entire battery of actual rescue workers. So regular old people had to just throw caution to the wind and start digging, climbing, going into the muddy water. And they saved all 12. They're still continuously saving people. But as of right now, everyone's accounted for. Check out this video. They were chanting what they were chanting.
That's miraculous.
It's pretty amazing, right?
That's vodka. Just the spirit that they had. They're having a great time.
They're chanting that saying that they were repeating is new life.
New life.
Yeah. All right, quit hogging the water, dude. There's, to me, I hate to say no better story because I do believe actually some men did pass away in the Chilean mine. Mm-hmm. But my favorite story was the couple dudes who were like, leave me in the mine because their girlfriend and their wife were up on top and they were both, and they got word that there was some trouble. And they're like, if you could leave me down here a couple more weeks.
I remember everybody was gathering. I do remember that. Everybody was gathering. That's a little scary. We've talked many times about nurses.
Nurses.
Salt of the earth.
They're the best.
They really, really do everything. And if you've ever been in a hospital, you know you see a doctor once for 10 seconds every 24 hours. And
it really is like a college professor where you're like, you're my teacher? I haven't seen you at all. Like, this poor lady's been teaching me the whole time.
That's the way it seems to be.
Yeah.
And it can be endless, long hours for nurses. But this particular nurse I'm going to show you a video of, she realizes that sometimes they get a little down and they're overworked and they don't really have a lunch break. So she uses her art to cheer people up.
Sweet.
Check this out.
Artwork can be an inspiration, and that is exactly how one nurse at Parkview is using it to impact those around her. WANE 15's Brienne Boswell joins us in studio now with the story.
Katie Edscorn is an inpatient nurse at the Parkview Orthopedic Hospital and is using her doodling talents to inspire those around her. For a few years now, her artwork has caught the attention of patients and coworkers all across the hospital. She uses colorful ink and inspirational quotes to bring a
Look at that.
She's talented.
That's crazy, right?
Positive message to those around her, specifically her patients. Although her and her coworkers are not in direct contact with COVID patients, they have been impacted by the pandemic just the same. Many extra steps to get things done have been put in place, along with cleaning procedures and PPE that has to be worn.
Honestly, I could say most nurses don't usually take a lunch break. They eat, but it's usually pretty quick. There's call lights going off that, people need you. And it's really hard. It's just a lot sometimes, and it can really weigh you down. So it's hard to imagine when you're not the one in that environment.
Her most recent work is a message to her coworkers who have been tirelessly working to ensure the health and safety of each and every one of their patients over the last year.
I purposely, when I drew that, wanted to make sure that there was nothing on there that specifically identified that person that I was drawing was a nurse. Looking at these words around it and seeing the emotion on that person's face, the little doodle, and being like, okay, that's how I feel, but I know that there are, things around me, and I know that I can look in with myself and say, I'm passionate about what I do, I make a difference in what I do, and I can keep going through all of this.
For more on this story, you can visit this story on WANE.com. In studio, Brienne Boswell, WANE 15 News.
How about that?
That was, she's really talented. And that last picture, the black and white one, that was huge.
Yes.
And took forever.
Yeah, code blue, nurse. What are you doing?
They're like,
stop
hey,
drawing.
Nurse Picasso, we have someone code 4 in the cancer wing. Can you put down the paintbrush for a second? Speaking of neighbors coming together, like that first story you told, this was really moving, this story. Obviously, everyone listening, all of us here, have been affected negatively by the lockdowns. Many businesses have had to shut down. Many businesses won't ever be the same. Well, one family, they're an entire family in Chicago that is a mariachi band.
All right.
They're like the Partridges, but for mariachi. Pretty rad, right?
I don't know. Do they play at home all hours of the day? Because if I'm their neighbor, then I'm not happy.
Yeah, you're kind of... Well, they obviously were having some trouble with the given circumstances. There's no place for them to play. There's no weddings and there's no, bar mitzvahs.
There's no parties.
There's no quinceaneras or whatever. No Mexican restaurants.
They do big bar mitzvah work.
Is that a huge calling? So they were struggling and they were going to be evicted. So the neighbors heard about it and took action. Check it out. No, you fucker! It's a beautiful story.
What?
We're over!
Stop! What's over?
Here you go, 50 Americano, please stop, okay?
Will you play the fucking video?
Would you stop?
Cielito Lindo. It means beautiful heaven. It's also the name of the Lucero family's 7-member mariachi band. When their gigs dried up, their neighbors in Chicago stepped in with a heavenly gift. Performing together, the Lucero family's the only source of income. They sing at restaurants, private events all over the city. When the pandemic hit, all of their performances were canceled. They fell $18,000 behind on rent, received an eviction notice right before Christmas. The family posted on social media asking how to apply for government aid. A neighbor saw that post, started a GoFundMe. It raised $56,000.
Wow. A few of us talked and said, we can't let them be evicted from their home. There's just no way.
We didn't expect that. Feels like a big warm hug from many people.
And that it is. As a thank you, the Lucero family put on a virtual concert. They hope to be back performing and live soon.
All of the members of that band are one family.
Yes.
It's a lot of people.
It's a big family.
Far be it from me, a Mexican, to not understand them having a lot of kids. It's kind of part and parcel. But do you think at any point they were like,
we need somebody for a tambourine.
We need a trumpet. Let's go. They got 4 guys. They're like, the average mariachi trio sounds good, but we need a horn section. All right, here we go. Come on.
Remember a few weeks ago when I told you the story about, first of all, the Dairy Queen, the 900 people that drove through?
And then you had it happen to you?
Then I went through Taco Bell, and the guy in front of me paid for me. And so I tried to pay for the guy behind me, and he wasn't there. And I thought, well, I didn't know what to do, so I just drove off. This is the answer for what to do. A restaurant came up with a way of helping other people that may not be there at the moment their customers are there. Watch this. This is genius.
Traxin in Peru is one of those restaurants that feels like home.
Hi guys, how are you?
Where they know your name and a drink is on the table before getting through the door.
We have a lot of regulars coming in too.
The kind of place where you would expect acts of kindness. But what's taken off lately has surprised even the workers here.
It's been crazy. Yeah, it's been crazy, but it's to help people out, and that's what we like to do.
They call it the Pay It Forward wall, where customers can get a meal in advance for anyone who needs it. And it didn't take long for generosity to fill up their board. Joe Molinex was picking up a to-go order, but also left 2 meals.
I think it's fabulous, We need to help people where we can and stuff like that. And it's good for everybody. Makes you feel good, makes them feel good.
Pick out some meals you want to put on the board.
Wayne kicked in $50 worth. And the payoff is when it helps.
Well, I'm happy that people are coming in and want to help other people out. Because, there is times that people come in and they don't have enough money to pay for their food. So last Friday we had a call-in that come in and got 2 tickets off the board and used them. So yeah, it's nice.
But Traxin isn't alone in doing this. Since the beginning of this month, at least 9 other businesses in Peru have put up Pay It Forward boards.
So this is the gift giving wall.
At Anita's boutique, it's clothing items being posted.
And it's fabulous because, again, people out there want to help.
A wave of goodwill in a time when people could really use it.
Peru, we're close-knit, small town, but I think we're just like family together. I mean, when it comes to helping each other out, we get together and we do that.
How amazing is that story? Because you don't know who's going to come in and need help, but you can donate and have it on the board. And if somebody comes in and needs it, they take it off the board. They get it for free.
Awesome.
It's
I love it.
amazing idea.
So I don't think anybody. You don't have to be watching Jim Cramer all day and reading the Wall Street Journal to know about the GameStop situation.
Yes.
I mean, it's really been an eye-opening experience, I think, for a lot of people. And most of the people who really made tremendous gains with the GameStop money, I think obviously they were motivated by financial gain, but I think they were also trying to prove a point, you know,
Sure.
and stick it to the people who were shorting the American market for far too long. Well, this one kid, he's like college. I think he's like 19. He's a kid. He's a child. And he made a substantial amount of money on GameStop.
Really?
He was on that Wall Street Bets, that Reddit, and he was using his Robinhood, and he started balling. He loves video games.
Yeah.
On top of investing, he loves video games. That's why he was doing the GameStop thing. He said, I've made this windfall. I love video games. I think most kids love video games. Check out what he did.
It was a better feeling than waking up in the morning and seeing that GME was on the moon.
Let's break down that sentence from Hunter Kahn. GME is the symbol for GameStop stock. On the moon means it went way up last week. Hunter cashed in big on that, but the better feeling he's talking about was using his money to donate 6 Nintendo Switches and games to Children's Minnesota Hospital.
I love video games. I know it would be terrible being a kid in a hospital with like no joy helping them through.
Hunter's post on Reddit about his donation has more than 175,000 upvotes or likes. He's comfortable on Reddit, the home of the online forum called Wall Street Bets that helped propel GameStop stock to its dizzying heights. The rally resulted in many amateur investors like Hunter beating wealthy hedge funds at their own game.
A lot of people are saying that this is somewhat like a transfer of power. But if the money's going from here just to the other side, there's no difference if we just are acting the same way as the people that we're criticizing. So I think it's important that we don't become men in suits ourselves and use our money for good.
Booyah!
How old is he?
He's like 19, dude.
Yeah. The Wall Street, for the most part, makes themselves and their clients wealthy.
Yes.
This guy's like, I got some money. I'm going to help people in a hospital.
And I thought that was a really, really substantial point that he made at the end. He said, yes, it is a transfer of power. Yes, we are sticking it to the man. But if we only use it for our own personal gain, then we're no better than they are.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really beautiful.
19.
Especially for a kid.
Said he was 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am not spending any amount of money on anyone else when I'm 19 and I make that.
Unfortunately, I think that's true of me too. All right. If you like this podcast, you can subscribe and click on the little bell thing and you'll be notified every time we post an episode.
And at the Kevin Ryder on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at Mike Catherwood. We both have benefited greatly from you guys sending us great news stories. So
Agreed.
Thank you. Keep
Love
it up. Oh yeah, almost forgot. Thank you for reminding me. It's an intro! Yeah, it's an intro! A lobster type intro. Hello to the happy, goodbye to the blues. Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news.
I don't know what that end part was.
Kevin and Mike are here to give you great news.
Nice.